Welcome to Your Fertility Story. Today, Maria is speaking with Oksana.
Hi, everyone. If you're considering surrogacy internationally, one of the biggest questions you probably have is it really actually legal? Right? And will I be recognized as my baby's parents? And right behind that question, of course, you have even more emotional one. Will I be able to bring my child back home without any complications? Because this is the reality, and this is where many families feel most uncertainty, not the medical side, not even the matching of the surrogate, but really what's going to happen once I hold my baby in my hands. So today I'm meeting with a phenomenal attorney who is handling cases of surrogacy in Ukraine. We're going to be specifically speaking about this question from the perspective of surrogacy in Ukraine. So without any ado, Oksana, let's jump in. Welcome, Oksana.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me today. My name is Oksana Lutsenko. I'm working in the field of surrogacy law for over 10 years, and I'm supporting my clients from United States, Australia, Canada, and other many different countries, and I hope I will be helpful today.
Okay, wonderful. So let's just really jump in and answer a question. Is surrogacy legal in Ukraine for foreign parents?
Yes, of course. It's actually a big privilege, yes, that in Ukraine it is absolutely legal. So we can open the legislation of Ukraine and see that it is possible for women to give a birth for another parents, for another people, yes, for a woman and for men, for a heterosexual couple. So it is absolutely legal. Comparing with different other countries, where sometimes the surrogacy is not recognized by law and so on.
Okay, so, and thank you so much for answering this question. You a little bit touched in on criteria for parents in order to participate in surrogacy in Ukraine. I want us to touch, really, would you outline, because I know this is one of the big specifics of surrogacy in Ukraine, that not everyone can participate. And it's, written in the regulations of surrogacy in Ukraine. So who can specifically participate in surrogacy in Ukraine from the parent side? We're not going to touch surrogate side, but really just the parent. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure. So at first, the woman has to have the medical conditions to participate in this program. So only if she has medical indications, in this case, it is possible for her and for her husband to start the program in Ukraine. That is why usually the clinic asks the confirmation from the doctor, who confirmed that it is recommended for this specific woman to go through surrogacy in order to have a child.
Okay. And that medical indication is not, I know sometimes people saying, well, I am older than 45, for example. Is this a medical indication, or there is really a list of regulations that is outlining what is considered to be medical indication?
Yes, you're correct. Yeah, there are the limited lists, and only having one of them, it is possible to enter surrogacy in Ukraine. So it could be some disease. It could be something like if women and men had 4 or more attempts before it with a high quality of embryos and it was unsuccessful. And different others, for example, women that doesn't have a uterus. So it is the list, and the age is not the condition which we can use for a surrogacy case.
Maybe not as by itself, right? So if you have advanced age, there needs to be some other indications. And so, guys, if you are considering surrogacy in Ukraine, of course, we as an agency, always this is one of the very first questions that we're going to be answering for you before you do any other steps, we will be checking with Oksana and with the medical teams whether your medical indication is something that would be approved by the legislation of Ukraine. And so you said medical indication, heterosexual married couples. So you cannot be single woman, correct? Even if she has medical indication, it cannot be single dad or same-sex marriages.
Or just a couple without, not in official marriage. So we need the official confirmation with the marriage certificate. Only in this case, it is possible to enter into a surrogacy program in Ukraine.
Okay, all right, that makes sense. Thank you. A big question is about birth certificate itself, because our families, they're considering, for example, Ukraine, Mexico, and also United States. And the process on how parents' name get into the birth certificate is different in each of those countries. How does it work in Ukraine? Do they need to go through the court orders? Is it happening automatically? Would you please talk us through that?
So after the birth of baby, parents need to gather the list of documents in order to get birth certificate with their names. So if they gather everything according to the legislation of Ukraine, they just go to the office, so civil registry office, and they will get the birth certificate listing both of them, both parents. No surrogate mother will not be indicated there.
Okay. So it's probably one of the one of the specifics of Ukraine, right? That is it correct to assume that surrogate mother automatically does not have any rights to a baby, and baby also does not have any reference or citizenship automatically of Ukraine? Would you please, because in other countries it's different. So talk us through that.
Yes. So the child can get the citizenship of one of the parents, because only these two people are recognized as the legal parents of this child. A surrogate mother is just a person who helped them in this program, and that's all for Ukraine. That's all. I mean, even if parents change their mind or something like that, so it doesn't mean that surrogate mother can take and hold this baby and have any rights to baby. It is, we can see it in legislation, so there is no chance for her to get baby. For other people, only two persons have this right. So parents who started this program, two people.
Okay. Is there ever cases possible where there is no genetic link between parents and the baby? Let's say if it's adopted embryos, so there is medical indication for the woman, they are married heterosexual couple, but it's adopted embryos. Can that be a case for Ukraine or no?
In Ukraine, there is some limits. So in Ukraine, it is possible to that one of the parents have at least one of the parents have a genetic link to baby. So there is no chance for donated embryo, or that embryo is linked to surrogate mother. Yes, so it's also an indication. So it's possible only in the case when one of the parents gave his genetic material, or both of parents. Yes.
Okay, that makes sense. What about the DNA? Is DNA test required to establish parentage, or is it based on intent? So documents would be provided showing the genetic link from the medical perspective. Is this sufficient evidence for the civil registry in Ukraine, or also absolutely mandatory parents must do the DNA test?
So it actually depends. Some civil registries can ask about it, but in legislation there is no
provision.
Yes, provision about this. So yes, in some cities, some civil registries can ask about it if also could be some suspicious case. That is why they can ask about it. But usually, no. Clinic provides parents with the genetic affinity document, and that's enough for civil registry. So generally, that's fine just to provide a civil registry office with this document. But of course, sometimes different embassies can ask about DNA test.
Okay. What about have Ukraine have any cases where the DNA was not of the parents? So maybe it was a medical mistake, or right, or surrogate. It was her DNA, right? She got pregnant even though the medical steps were taken. Have there been any cases like that? And if yes, what's going to happen with the baby? Will the baby be assigned to surrogate, or still intent of surrogacy will have the top ruling?
Yeah, so I've never been involved in such case, and I really hope that in Ukraine there are many only few such cases. I understand that I believe that it could happen because it's human. So human mistake is possible in every country. But what can I say from the legal perspective? That at any case it will be litigation, so it would never possible just to establish it through the civil registry or something like that. Only the court can make the decision, and of course he will take care of the best interests of baby, and he will see the specific case what is happening. Yes, so if it's really the baby belongs to surrogate mother genetically, yes, or something happened in medical in clinic, or I don't know, or maybe it was a fraud, something like that. So it really depends on the specific case what's happened.
Okay. But it's really reassuring that in your 10 years, none of the cases ever have happened. Right. For us as well. But I know this is one of the questions that parents are asking. In order to start the journey, what documents do parents need to have, before proceeding?
Yeah, sure. So they just need to provide a clinic and to sign the agreement with surrogate mother. It should be notarized. So in order to do this, clinic and notary, they ask for their passports. As for marriage certificate, it should be legalized in the country where it was issued. And usually, in case parents don't travel to Ukraine, they also can use the power of attorney, empower somebody from Ukraine in order this person can sign the document on their behalf.
Okay. What happens legally right after the baby is born? When you said we're going to the civil registry, is there some wait period? Is it happening almost immediately? Would you talk through the timeline? And I know when you work on cases, and we're always using you are really fast in how exit process is organized, because the goal is to get parents and the baby out of the country as soon as possible. So so the baby is born, then what happens?
Okay, so the baby is born, and usually we are waiting for the parents when they come to Ukraine, to Kyiv or to Lviv or other city. Once they come and pick up baby, and surrogate mother sign all documents, parents pay surrogate mother. So if there is no delay from parents, yes, so they come immediately, they pay surrogate mother in time, and so on. So we can get birth certificate like in one day from the moment we have all the documents from parents. So we have their passports, we have marriage certificate, and actually, yes, so there is no delays. And for example, in Lviv, we can get it in the same day when we apply for it. In Kyiv, for example, now there is the different situation. You should at first apply with documents and wait maybe 2 days, something like that, and also pass DNA and waiting for the results of DNA.
Okay. And then once the birth certificate is established, so parents have the birth certificate, then the step is to apply to the embassy of whatever country of citizenship.
Yes, it depends. It depends if they need to apply for a passport or for citizenship. Sometimes they need to apply in a specific website, yes, and wait there for their answer, because some embassies, for example, Canadian, they doesn't provide any services like this in Kyiv, and you need to visit Warsaw, the nearest one, which is open. So it depends, but yes, you're right. So after we get birth certificate, usually parents take care of the next step, and it's the passport in order to get out from a country with a baby.
Mhm. I like the way you're organizing your process, because even though you're saying parents should, but actually from the moment you take on the case, which starts from the, getting all of the documentations from the parents that qualify them as approved for surrogacy in Ukraine, then going into the surrogacy agreement, then leading them through the exit process, right? Through all of those steps of receiving birth certificate and then also embassies. You really do a lot of work for parents, right? So how do you like to organize the process? Because again, when you're saying you do, I know parents physically will probably like make application into the embassy, but you organize the packets, all of the details, and you give very detailed instructions where parents don't feel that they need to figure things out. So please walk us through that.
Yeah, so really it depends on the embassy of the country, because some countries, they are like straightforward. There is nothing special, nothing, I would say, difficult in the process. You just get birth certificate and go to the embassy, and that's all. You don't need any other additional documents. But it's a really rare situation, I would say. So countries like the United States, Canada, United Kingdom, and Australia.
China, I think, is also pretty straightforward.
China, yeah. So we need to gather a lot of documents in order to present them to embassy and to have enough evidence that this is the baby, belongs to these specific parents, and this baby has a right to get citizenship of parents or of one of the parents. That is why, of course, parents just take care of their part of documents. Usually it's like documents which could confirm their citizenship, something like that. Yes, birth certificate, their birth certificates, maybe naturalization certificates, marriage, divorce, documents from previous marriages. But yes, all other documents which confirm the program process, what happened, like the medical side of birth and surrogate, her waiver, and other documents which embassy asked for us to gather in order to show what happened during all these 9 months. We gather it, yes, with help of usually agency, and provide to parents, and then they can go present it to embassy.
Okay, wonderful. And literally, maybe just a couple more closing questions. And I know, guys, there is probably so many more questions you have to Oksana. I think we're going to have another meeting, just maybe look deeper into each aspect, or maybe even give examples of the exit process for particular embassies, right? But today, we just want to really answer the question, is surrogacy legal in Ukraine, right? And how is it structured? So a couple closing questions. Decision power of surrogate through the process, how does it work? Is it true that if you were to look into surrogacy in Ukraine, it's highly protective of rights and decision power of parents and also the baby, and surrogate does not have as much decision in the process?
Yes, that's right, because as legislation said that these babies belongs to parents, to intended parents. And also it is important how you establish your relationship with surrogate in the agreement, actually. So you need to be protected by agreement from the moment you enter to this relationship. So of course you need to establish it too there, and to protect your rights and feel more comfortable and confident in this program. But it's correct that surrogate mother is she provides a service. Yes, of course, we also take care of her, and parents take care of her during medical team, take care of her during the pregnancy. But all things and questions that related to child, they will be the right to make the decision. It belongs to parents.
Okay. A very kind of sticky subject, but it still comes up, because from the parents and because we're dealing with the medical side, right, where things could go not perfect way. Is termination of pregnancy built into possibilities for the surrogacy in Ukraine? If, let's say, there is a medical indication, and how does it work? Do we need to have a permission of surrogate to make the decision, or it's in hands of parents and medical team?
It's really, really depends on the specific situation. So because there are different conditions where it is possible to do by surrogate mother, where it's possible to do by medical team should insist on it because something happened, and parents, of course. But we should should come back to the agreement and should provide everything there. So should establish all the rights and obligations by surrogate mother and parents there about this too.
Okay, all right. And is it possible for only one parent to go through the process after the baby is born? Can one parent be present for the receiving of birth certificate, or only is possible with two parents? Or could it be possible without any presence of parents?
So as for now, it is possible because sometimes, again, in Lviv, still it is possible. In Kiev, it is difficult. I'm not sure if it's maybe some exemptions are possible, but not as a rule. So yes, it is possible to do with one parent, but it requires to prepare additional documents from absent parent. And it's possible to get a birth certificate without presence of parents. I'm not sure if it's possible to get documents from embassy without presence of parents. It could be also as exemptions. Parents should take care of this part and speak to their embassy, understand if it's possible or not, because we previously had some cases that it was possible to get a birth certificate and passport without presence of parents. But it's really difficult to after that, what's happening after that? You should also plan and understand that it's very difficult to cross the border without parents.
Yes.
For maybe to cross the border without parents. So parents also should think about it.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm so grateful for you, Oksana, to at least giving us some ground foundation. So we definitely will come back to the questions. Anything maybe in closing remarks, right? Like what would you want, one lesson or one thought parents to walk away with when they're thinking about surrogacy in Ukraine from the legal perspective?
From the legal perspective, I would say that really Ukraine is one of the best decision in case when they're thinking about surrogacy from a legal perspective. Yeah, because it is written by law that it is possible. So you don't need to worry that something happened, that surrogacy changed her mind, or in case she could be listed in birth certificate, that it is something that could happen and she will take this baby, something like that. So just in case you worry about this, in Ukraine, you shouldn't worry about this at all, yes. Then, of course, here you can you can get birth certificate listing the two parents very fast right after you have a baby. So you don't need to wait for any court decision or something like that for a long time. And it's really the huge advantage because people have to come back to their home, to their work, and so on. And of course, it is a huge advantage too. So Ukraine is a great opportunity, especially from legal perspective. That is why I really can recommend it. Please come. I would gladly help you with all the legal questions.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. So have a beautiful day and please stay safe.
Thank you. Thank you, Maria. Bye.
Bye-bye.